Good morning, good morning, good morning. You are listening and you are watching Church Without Walls. We come to you every Monday morning, 11 to 12 Central Standard Time. We are Church Without Walls. My name is Charles Stewart, and the Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams we host this show every Monday morning. We come to you to help knock down the walls that's standing in your way and that try to enlighten your life. We know that many of y'all went to y'all neighborhood church house, and I'm more than sure y'all were filled with the Holy Ghost in one way or the other. We hope that you certainly was inspired and God would have touched you to move on to help your brother, man. That's the reason that Dr. William and myself, we come on every morning to try to share with our brothers and sisters what we learned in our church house yesterday. When we go to a service, we want to get something that we can take away with it and share with our brothers and sisters. We want you to share with us, though, what you learned in your church house. And we just, before we get into our topic today, we want to give all our condolences to the Jones family who lost one of their loved ones, Brother Thomas Jones. Funeral was Saturday, and it was a Holy Ghost filling time. And one young lady in the service, we lost one soldier, but one soldier came, gave her hand to Reverend Williams. So we lost one and we gained one. So we gained two. And we thank God for that. And we certainly are praying for the Jones and the Williams family that God would keep them. And you know, God's way is not our way, but He is God the same all the time. So what one family goes through, certainly the other family go through the same thing. But we certainly praying for that family, that God will strengthen them in a time of sorrow. I also want to say to everyone that may be sick and shedding, some of our listening audience ill in and out the hospital, but we believing with them that God is able, and He would strengthen them in a needed time. We also want to announce that Mary J. is celebrating her birthday, and she is on a day that many people on the 23rd, something about the 23rd of July, all them birthday. Everybody saying, about Charles, my birthday on the 23rd. So Mary J. birthday is on the 23rd, and next Monday, she going to be celebrating her birthday on the New Orleans Talk Network with many of her friends. And guess what? Y'all know she come on at 10 o'clock to 11, but she going to be on next week from 10 to 12. So she going to take the time normally that the Church Without Walls would be on. We now want to let you know that Dr. Williams, myself, we would not be on next week. Mary J. would be in our spot with her birthday party. She asked me a really kind way, and many of her friends coming over. We want to try to get everything. And her title is going to be next week. It's all about Mary. I don't know what she got in store, but she's saying it's all about Mary. She says something about Mary. And we know some great Marys. You know, like if we go to the Bible, Mary Magdalene, we can come up with a lot of Marys, but she said it's something about Mary. That's what they're going to be. So Dr. Williams and myself, we're going to yield to them next Monday. And they're going to, I guess we always use the scenario, like they said, Burger King. They're going to have it day ways next week, and we certainly want to support them. And we want to say happy birthday to everyone in the month of July. And especially on the 23rd, all the great people said their birthday is going to be. So, again, Church Without Wall, we will not be on next Monday. If you turn your radio on or tune in to YouTube, Facebook, what have you, you're going to be watching Mary J., who come on every Monday, and she's going to have our time next week. So we want you to look forward to that. And again, Church Without Wall, we on every Monday morning in a beautiful studio of the New Orleans Talk Network. And our only reason for being on the air is to try to enlighten you and share with you. And Dr. William and myself, we use the phrase that I think last week the title was, it ain't what you know, but it should be you should know, but you don't know, and you should know. So that's what Dr. William was trying to share with you, some things that you don't know, but you should know. And guess what? That goes for Dr. William and myself. We don't know, we should know, so share that with us. 504-341-8255. Toll-free number is 563-991808. You can get in on this conversation whenever you please. And we invite you to give us a call. And we want to know some things, so we want to know how you feel about it. And want to say today that our topic gonna be planting a seed. And when you plant a seed, I don't know, some people know that may be a gardener. Some may understand how you grow. Some people grow vegetables in their yard, in their backyard. Some may have a few country people that understand about planting a seed. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, planting a seed. But before Dr. William and myself get into that, let me say what inspired this conversation today. Yesterday, I had a great time in the city of Kenner. Beautiful day. And it was at the Nineveh Baptist Church over in Kenner, pastored by Reverend Sam Baker. And what happened was a seed was planted 20 years ago at this church. Let me see, can Reverend William always use the phrase, let me see how can I help you out. Let me see how I can explain it to you. Is that the Coalition for Leadership and Development, we planted a seed 20 years ago at the at Nineveh Baptist Church, which Reverend Neal was the great pastor at church, and he had the seat. And Reverend Neal was very supportive of the coalition. When you have a community group, a community organization, we went to many pastors and asked them to help us. And he was one of the ones that was open to help us. He was one of the ones that let us use the Nineveh Baptist Church to hold meeting concerning the African American community, and he was very open for that. And he had passed away, and God put on my heart to after he had passed away, God put on my heart that what could we do to help somebody that helped us, because we went to many pastors and many churches, and he was one of the very few that said yes. And so what happened is that I asked, done 20 years ago, Donna R. Jones was the councilman in Jefferson Parish. I asked him, I told him the coalition wanted to do something in the honor of Reverend Neal, and I say, I don't know any African American in Jefferson Parish. I don't know no black man that have a street named after him that I know of. And many people say Clay Street was named after Reverend Arthur P. Clay. But that was not true. Reverend Clay just happened to move on the street that has carried his last name, Clay. But the street in Kenner named Clay Street, that was named after, actually was a slave owner by the name of Henry Clay. That street was named after him. So from all the research that we got, no African-American Jefferson Parish had a street named after him. So I asked Councilman Jones, would he consider naming the street after Reverend Neal? I explained to him that Reverend Neal was very open to the coalition in anything that we try to do, and he was very supporting. So he told me, yeah, he'd take a look at it. So finally he called me and told me that he would do that. So I got together with the people at Nineveh Baptist Church, and we formed a committee. And we had Pastor Jones had got his fellow councilman brother to agree to name a street after Wilker Neal, which at the time the street was I think it was Atlanta Street, if I'm not mistaken. And we were going to change Atlanta Street to Wilker Neal. And certainly when everyone agreed, the parish president signed off on it. And we had a program at the Nineveh Baptist Church, and that's when the coalition had invited different churches to come over to Nineveh, and everyone in the community, the pastor and all, came and supported this event, and that's how this got started. But to make the story short, if I can. The program was a very successful, and Atlanta Street became Wilker Neal, and the people were very excited. The members of the church, they loved their wife, Sister Neal. She was so happy. Brothers, everybody crying. They was happy. But we left an offering for the coalition after the program over with, and I don't remember. My mind tells me we raised about $1,400 after the event, and that's supposed that went to the coalition. That was for the coalition, but God put on my heart to give the money back to Nineveh Baptist Church, and the coalition had made recommendation that they would take their money and start a foundation in the honor of Reverend Neal. And that church formed a committee with Reverend Baker and also Reverend Floyd Grayson and many others joined in, and they started a foundation. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this, that was 20 years ago that this took place, that a seed was planted. And after that seed was planted, Pastor Jones got an email some month ago and said that want to honor former Councilman Donald Jones and Charles Stewart for being said we was on the executive board. We were one of the founding board member of the Wilker Neal Scholarship Foundation. Why is this important? That seed was planted 20 years ago, and it's something that I forgot about. Donald Jones forgot about it. But they didn't forget us. They called us. And to me, that was important. They called and said, hey, we got 20 years anniversary. Say, y'all started the seed 20 years ago, and we having our 20 years anniversary for the Wilker Neal Scholarship Foundation. Say, what? And so we want to honor y'all guys. So yesterday we went there, and it was a beautiful occasion. And what really made me excited to want to do this show, Planting Seeds, is that 20 years ago that got started, but they had young people came back. One young man, Dr. William, came way from Connecticut. That's thousands of miles away from here. To be there yesterday, to be part of that 20 years, because he said that the money, the scholarship they gave him, he went to school to be a doctor. You hear what I'm saying, Dr. William? He went to school to be a doctor, and God bless him. He thanked the foundation for being a blessing to him. He flew in from Connecticut to be there yesterday at Nineveh Baptist Church. And this show really taught my heart. I said, man, I got to do a show on this about a seed was planted. I forgot about that seed, Dr. William. And here, doctor, lawyers, school teachers from the Wilkenneal Foundation giving out scholarship. And let me say to our listening audience, the Bible said that we should plant seed. And you know, when you plant seed, you know that, Dr. William, it got to be planted. You got to put water on it. You know, you got to nourish that plant. So what happened was the coalition provided the seed and it was planted. But great people like Reverend Baker, Reverend Grayson, that whole entire committee, I don't know everybody that was on that committee, they've been putting water on it, you know, Dr. William, and what I mean, they said put water in there. You hear the preacher that preached the sermon that he passed the church in Sweetport, Louisiana. He came from way from Sweetport to come be able to preach the 20th anniversary. And he talked about when they first got started, they were washing cars to raise money for the young kids. And this is what this word is all about. Planting the seed, and I would like to use that word, you know, using the right stuff, you know, Rev. You know, that's a hip word that the younger you got the right stuff. That's the right stuff when you got people committed to something. But I'm saying to our listening audience, and those maybe watching us, plant a seed. You don't know how it's going to grow.
How it's going to grow up.
You don't know what it's going to be. And the Coalition for Leadership and Development, I'm so glad that we created that seed years ago, and that now we seeing it come up. And I want to say the Coalition for Leadership Development, we done gave many other banquets at the Lario Center, at the Focalium many times. Recognize we done gave out over $300,000 in scholarship to young kids that they can further their whatever they goals in life. You know, Rev, how that go. If you believe it, you can achieve it. So we just so proud today that I can say that the coalition been in the forefront doing that, and a lot of people haven't really recognized it. But thank God, 20 years later, somebody right back say, hey, man, I remember the coalition did this here. There's a lot of things that that the coalition did in the past, but we haven't. You know, a lot of people may not know about it, but we were the spearhead.
Well, you know, Charles, if you stop and think about it, you guys have been instrumental in a lot of things that's happening in Jefferson Parish. Charles is more of a politically inclined person. You know, he pays attention to the radio and what the news media said, and then he don't take what you have on just being said on the news media. He'll go and do some research on that and see how that person is actually performing in that office that he's working in. You take like Nineveh Baptist Church, and we say a seed was planted years ago, but one man plant, another man water, but God give the increase according to your works, how you performing what you're doing. You can't just put a seed in the ground and expect it to grow. Yes, it'll grow, but it won't be as fertile as it was before. Somebody took some care to it, pulled the dirt around it, put some water around it, put a little fertilizer on it to make it grow. And you know, we have a saying that you got to plant seed in fertile ground. All the time, the ground that you're planting the seed in now is not as fertile as the ground that we used to plant it in a long time ago.
Dr. Williams, could you hold that thought? We need to take a break. We got to pay some bills, y'all. We're going to be right back. Church Without Walls, if you want to get in on the comment section, you can do so. 563-999-1808, 504-341-8255. Church Without Walls, we love you. We'll be right back.
This is my season for grace, for favor. Yeah. This is my season to reap what I have sown. Y'all listen at this.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Oh, how the time flies. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson. And can you believe that it has been 1 year since Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions hit your airwaves? We have interviewed authors, entrepreneurs, playwrights, musicians, and everyone in between, all to bring you the best in literary conversation. And we plan to do it again this year, but only better. So join us right here in the Literary Lounge each Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. See you there.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1492.
This is my season for grace, for favor. This is my season to reap what I have sown. This is my season.
We are back. You are listening and you are watching Church Without Walls. It ain't too many talk shows that you can listen to and you can watch it too. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And you know that you can download us on the app www. New Orleans Talk Network. And we so happy today that we're talking about planting a seed. And Dr. Williams was telling you some things that happen when you plant seed. Dr. Williams.
When you first thing you have to realize is that you're not always planting seed in fertile ground, but sometimes you've got to plant seed in rough ground, and then you've got to take care of it. If you take care of it, you water it, pull some soil to it, that seed will grow. If you put the proper fertilizer on it, it will grow. Jesus, when Jesus talked about planting seed, he was on a boat on the Sea of Gennesaret, and he talked to the people about planting seed. Be careful what you plant, because you will reap what you sow.
Right.
And you see, some people are not careful when they're planting seed. And I could take you to many levels pertaining to planting seed. You take men tell their sons that they need to go out and sow their wild oat,
Okay.
but they don't want them sowing them in somebody's daughter. You're not going to let somebody come sow a wild oat in your daughter. So that's another thing to look at. When we talk about planting seeds, you take it to different levels to talk about. You got preachers that talk about planting seed to send a seed, to plant a seed in their ministry. Well, and that's exactly what's happening. They're planting a seed in somebody else's ministry, not the ministry of Jesus Christ. That's where the difference come in at. Are you planting a seed in the ministry of Jesus Christ to further the ministry that Christ actually proclaimed down here? But if you're planting a seed in somebody else's ministry, you're trying to, in other words, you're getting the plan and they get the blessing. So sowing a seed means sowing for growth of the church, for growth of the community, for growth of everybody that's in that area. And when you're sowing a seed for growth, then you can see it flourish. Listen, the Bible tells you, see, if you have as much faith as a grain of mustard seed. For a long time when I read that, and this was in Sunday school, I thought he was talking about a mustard plant. It took me a while to find out that he was talking about a mustard tree. Because what I didn't understand was that if a mustard could grow into a plant for the birds to make their nest in, I thought it was making a nest down on the ground, but I found out that it was a mustard tree, a mustard seed for a mustard tree. And the mustard tree would grow from that seed, and it would become a nest for birds to nest in. So, churches, ask yourself a question. What did you get from the message at church on Sunday? Did it help you? Were you able to leave there better than you did when you went in? How did the message help you? Was the message about how you can help the person that's preaching? Was the message about how you're living? What did the message do for you? What seed was planted in you that you could grow from what you heard Sunday? Now you need to ask yourself a question. Am I going to a place where I can get fertile or fertility for growth? When I leave the church, am I leaving the church better than I did when I went in? That's the sign that a seed is being planted in you to make you grow from what you're receiving. And if you're not receiving growth, then there's a problem somewhere.
Dr. William, you're so right, man. And, Dr. William, you know what? I remember a method that you preached. It's been some time ago. And you strictly your message was you were telling us that you saying one thing and doing something else.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know if you remember that was in your method. I can't paraphrase exactly how you had it, but anyway. And that's what a lot of time, like planting seed, Dr. William, that's what we do. Like we plant seeds and we don't, ain't something like you say, you can plant seeds anywhere. But when you plant that seed, it all depends on how you nurse it. Sometimes, I done seen, I know a little bit about the country. Sometimes you can take a watermelon, you can be eating a watermelon out in Mississippi, and you can just beat and throw the seeds on the ground, and sometimes a watermelon vine would grow. And it's have other seeds, and they got some of need to be nourished. And what I was saying earlier, Dr. William, that 20 years ago when the Wilker Neal Foundations came together, the seed was in the ground, but the nursing came along with it. And what the nursing was, Dr. Williams, they washing cars, they get fish fries, they, you know,
But that was
they
people who had concern for
yeah,
the community, people who felt that we need to do better than we're doing now. Let me say something to everybody that's watching us right now. You get up in the morning and you dress yourself. Women's gonna get in the mirror, put makeup on and the perfume on, make sure their hair right and everything else. Get in their car. Some of them driving 10 miles to go to church. And then when you get there, you're entertained by the singing.
right,
But your attention shouldn't be on the singing, because that's your praise that's coming out of you. Your attention should be upon what the Word is planting in you, what the Word is instilling within you. So when you leave those church house doors, you should be able to go out and give some of the seed that was given to you to be planted in someone else. If you can plant that Word in someone else, that's what the seed is, the Word of God.
right,
Plant that Word in somebody else to make their life a little bit better. Somebody's
Right.
out there waiting for you to come and plant a seed in them so that they can gain strength, so that they
Right.
can gain encouragement. And when you're doing that, you know, God is smiling on you, because now you're worshiping Him. You
Right.
see, we're of the impression that worship is in the church when we're raising our hands up and singing songs and praising God. That's your praising. Your worship start when you leave those church house doors and go out into the community
Right.
and start worshiping God by expelling His word unto people.
right,
That's the worship part of it. Jesus said, I came to do the work of Him that sent me while it is day. For when
Right.
night come, no man is work. We read that, but we don't really understand it. What He's telling you is that when you do no work for me.
right,
But while you're alive, while the blood is still running warm in your vein, take that word out of the church. The pastor should be giving you a word to take out into the community.
right.
You know, and when you're doing that, you know, that's what really needed. I want to say something too, and I should have said it at the beginning of the program. I want to thank all of those that came out for my brother's funeral on Saturday.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Reverend Green from Moses Baptist Church, to Reverend Norman Smith from Little Zion Baptist Church, where I was, where I am associate minister over there, and you know, we had those people here from Bethesda House of Prayer, where I serve also as the executive pastor, and to Reverend LaGrange out into Harnville, Louisiana. Those people, we want to thank you for your heartfelt welcome to Reverend Deacon Percy Wilson, to those guys that came to serve with us yesterday and share with us on Saturday. But I also want to say too, the topic that we've chosen today is about planting seeds. And you ought to be careful where you're planting your seeds at. You ought to be careful as to what ground you're planting in. Sometimes you're going to plant some seed on rough ground. But that ground that you're planting on, if you take care of that plant, it'll grow. You got potted plants that we use fertile ground to plant those potted plants in. But unless you take care of them, they will die. The word is designed to keep you alive. That's the seed of God. And if you take that word and plant it in the hearts of people who are sinners, who are non-believers, it will help them to become fertile in their thinking. Their minds will become fertile. And they'll realize that what you've given them is a gift that they couldn't refuse. And you ought to want to give somebody a gift that they can't refuse. I think it was the Godfather that God said, I'm about to make you a promise you can't refuse. Okay. Well, you ought to want to interact like that. When you're talking to a believer, planting a seed in them, tell them, I'm about to give you something you can't refuse.
Yep.
You know, we sometimes we look at things and not realize that the increase from what you're planting will be helpful to somebody else.
Yep.
You plant a seed in somebody who's not too familiar with the word. When the word gets within him, what we have to remember is just like Jesus said, when Jesus came into the world, he said, prepare me a baby's body. What he was saying was put me in fertile ground. So I'm going to be a vessel that the word is going to come to. The word is going to be used. I'm going to be a living sacrifice, because we were so incorporated into offering dead sacrifice. But Jesus is saying now, plant me in some fertile ground. Allow me to be a seed, the word that can go out and touch the hearts of individuals. And that's what we want to do right now. We want to be touching the hearts of individuals, to get them to come from the differences where they are. Men who are in the street. Some men who are out there in the streets have been changed. Some
Right.
prostitutes have been made missionaries.
Right.
Some pimps have been made preachers. You know, and some people say that shouldn't be. But God took someone from where they were to convert people that were where they were to be different than they are. And so that's called, he showed us how to plant seed. And he showed us what kind of seeds to plant. Now be careful, we're talking about planting seed, but be careful about ministers who are on TV talking about sow into my ministry, sow into this. Find you a church somewhere where you can go and fellowship with somebody and see what's going on, and take the word out of the church and give it to somebody.
Yeah.
That's constantly planting a seed for growth.
Right.
And that's not happening in many of our organizations today. You've got organizations that I've been familiar with since I've been in the community, working within the community. I serve as a community center supervisor for over 22 years. But the people could come to the centers that I worked at like the Marrero Center, the Hazelhurst Center, the Watson Center. Had a job training program. With a job training program, we had educational program for the youth. And the educational program was to plant a seed within them to let them know that they can be anything that they want to be if they put forth the effort to do it. Charles made a statement. He said, if you can achieve it and believe it, you can receive it. Mm-hmm. And that's what we have to get our young folks at this point to understand. They need to believe it and achieve it, and they will receive it. There was a young lady that came through job training, and she didn't want to come, but her mother forced her to come. So after she got there to the job training program, she went through the program. She was a very smart young lady, but nobody had ever taken the time to really talk to her. Not patting myself on the back, but I was fortunate to have the opportunity to sit down with her before I put her in the program and talk to her. And she made me a promise that if she went through the program, she was going to pass it, and that she was going to go on to do better things. She wound up working, I got Councilman Green to hire her at the Westwego City Hall. Mm-hmm. And I was surprised when they told me that she had become so helpful in helping them that they were able to get their budget out on time for the first time.
Amen.
That's a miraculous achievement for a young lady. And from that point, I don't know what she's doing now because I've lost contact with her.
Okay.
But that's for me. I've met some young men who all they did was smoke pot. And I saw one the other day, and he come up to me and told me, he said, Reverend, how you doing, man? He said, you're a reverend now. I said, yeah. He said, man, he said, I want to tell you, I've been looking for you. I want to tell you. I said, what's that you want to tell me? He said, I want to tell you, man, I got my own job. I got my own business.
Right.
I said, you got your own business? I said, what you doing? He said, man, I cut grass. He said, but I got 6 people working for me, man. He said, and I always think about how you used to talk to us and tell us, you know, that we can have it if we go out and try to get it. He said, and I went out. He said, I started with 1 lawnmower, cutting grass. He said, and I bought me another lawnmower, and I got a little guy to work with me, and then I got another guy to work with me. He said, "Now I don't have to do anything out in the sun. I sit in my truck and watch them work, and I pay them a good, a good salary."
He a helicopter on that. They
So
they
now
don't think cutting grass.
And see,
They
a
got
lot
that
of people,
sophisticated name, Medicare.
You got people talking. People talk. Go ahead. We go.
Sorry to interrupt, Dr. William, but anyway, we got to take our last break. We do have to pay bills around here, so we got to take our last break. So we'll be back.
For favor, this is my season to reap what I have sown. This is my season for grace, for favor.
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned into New Orleans Talk Network.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1492.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Joe Lapinto, and you are watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
For grace, for favor, this is my season to reap what I have sown.
We are back. You are listening and you are watching Church Without Walls. We are on every Monday morning, 11 to 12. Every Monday morning, we're going to knock down on walls that stand in our way. And like Reverend Williams said a few minutes ago, if you can believe it, you can achieve it. It's no doubt about it. You just got to do it in the name of God. God said, Jesus gave us something in the book of St. John. He said, anything you ask my Father in my name, that he will do. We just got to ask it in Jesus' name. But you also is a little bit more to it. You got to believe it. And another thing I want to add on to what Reverend William was saying, like when you go to the church house, hear the way the Holy Spirit put it on me, Dr. William, that when you leave get dressed and you go to your church, wherever you fellowship at, your membership at, you just go to visit, whatever you. When you walk in that door, you greeted by usher or you take your seat. But the bottom line is you're going to get a prayer, you're going to have a praise team, or you're going to have a choir. They're going to inspire you. Somebody going to inspire you with a prayer. Somebody going to get up, maybe do a talk or a testimony. They getting you ready. I mean, they putting you in once they're planting a seed, they're getting you motivated. Now, you ain't planted that seed yet, but you're getting ready.
Well, you're getting the seed planted. You're getting the seed planted in you. What you got is that David put songsters in the church, and the reason he put songsters in the church was that music soothes the savage beast.
Right.
And whether you believe it or not, you got a savage beast in you that's trying to take control over you. That music gets you ready. It soothes, it calms you down. It makes you relax. And so now you're ready to receive the word. When Jesus fed those the people out on that grassy land, and that 5,000 he fed, not counting women and children. First, before he could get them to listen to him, he had to feed their belly.
Right.
So going into the church, the singing kind of like feeds you, inspire you, you know. And once all of that happens, then you can plant the seed. But because you're planting a seed now in what? In fertile ground.
Right. But you know, like what you're saying, Dr. William, and the way the Holy Spirit given it to me, that in the beginning of the show, I talk about the seed that was planted 20 years ago. Now, when the seed was planted, I said that the coalition was the one who spearheaded that. Now, people say, well, who is the coalition? Who they is? I mean, who the coalition? Now, I may have been in the forefront of it, but they had other people was helping me plant. You know, like you had people like, say, Vidora Carson. She was the one that was helping and made it possible for the coalition to do that, like her. Reverend D. Dunn, I mean, go on to Reverend Jerome Owen, Miss Robertson, Miss Jean Evans. I mean, you can go on and on and on. People are saying, well, the seed was planted, but nobody pretty much know the people behind the scene that helped. Say, like if a pastor do something, they say, well, Rev did, he ain't did it by himself. I mean, he had helpers, so God put people in our life. And what reason why I'm bringing this out, oftentimes when people really do something to help the people in the community, to help other people, most time the people that really do a lot of the hard work, people don't even mention their name. I know a lot of times people saying, well, in that community that said they got a lot of vote out of their community. Who was in there pushing? It's name you never hear. Like I know, like I have to mention my good friend Victoria. Like she work any candidate that she work with, she go out there and she'll work hard. She give it all. She got that drive. She want to win. But nobody, when they say that person won, they don't never say Victoria Carson went out there and worked hard out to help them. I mean, people like that. I'm just. You know, cause me and her good friend, we talk about politics sometimes, and we don't work in campaign, but she the one that come to mind that really goes out there and work real hard. I mean, the reason why I'm singing her out, she work day and night. If she not out there in the street, she on the phone calling somebody.
Well, that's
but
because
those type people never get mentioned. Nobody never mention them.
You got people in the vineyard that are working. And sometimes those people's name will never come up. But it's not important, really important to them that their name come up, because they're not looking for an earthly blessing. They're looking for a heavenly blessing. And that means that they're going to be blessed. Some people, if they give $1, they want you to call their name.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not so important as to you gave $1 and everybody got to know you gave $1. Do a good work. They say good work will do what? It will follow you.
Yeah.
Their works will follow them wherever they go. And so you don't plan on staying here.
Right.
This is not your home. You don't plan on staying here. But I want to be able to, when I get there, that he can say, servant of God, well done.
Right.
You know, your work followed you. We saw what you did. We know the pain that you went through, the agony. You know, nobody called your name, but your name was planted up here in the Lamb's Book of Life. That's important.
And I want to add to, before we end the show, we're talking about planting the seed. I just want to let our listening audience know that to plant that seed now, you have to prepare yourself for that. And what I mean, like you hear people say that when I go on Sunday to my church house, I go when I figure the preacher's getting up ready to preach. I don't like the singing. Some people say, I like the singing, but I ain't too much interested. Let me tell you, when you dealing with God work, You got to have it all. And always, y'all know I use this scenario all the time. You're not at Burger King. You can't have your way. When it comes to serving God, me, personally, Dr. William, I want it all. I want the prayer. I want the singing. I want the praise. And a testimony, when you come to your church house, when you get all that.
You want a complete meal.
Yeah, I want a full course meal. As a matter of fact, I want the dessert too. So like when you come there, when you get the prayer, when you get the testimony, when you get the word from the man of God, then you prepared to go out into the world and speak to other people about the good news of God. But and Rev, you know, a lot of people, I don't think they understand. They say, well, I just like to hear a Rev preach, but according to the Bible, you ain't reading the Bible. The Bible said, praise me. He wants you to praise me and always sing it. He wants you to dance.
But you ought to be able
got to do it all.
You ought to be able to listen to what I preach. Yeah. And I'm saying me. I'm just using myself as an example. Listen to what I preach. Go home and research and study. See, Reverend Williams said this, but I don't see that in the Bible.
True.
You see? And so everything that you hear come across the pulpit is not true.
Right.
Some guys heard somebody say it, and they said it, and it became a traditional saying.
Right.
You know, and you see preachers that do traditional stuff on the pulpit, and a lot of times they say, but with the foolishness of preaching are men saved. Some people you can't get to unless you act a fool.
Yeah.
You fool, but you're mixing the foolishness with the word of God. First you're getting their attention with the foolishness, and then you put the word of God in them. When you preach that word and they're hearing that word and that word gets in them, it stirs up that gift that's in them that they didn't realize that they have.
Right.
Everybody has a gift. And if you don't find out what your gift is, you lose it.
Right. So we're saying that everybody plant that seed, but you got to put on the whole arm of God to be able to plant that seed. And if you plant that seed, just maybe, that you will be happy the way I was yesterday. After 20 years, the seed that was planted, it manifested itself. It came up, and it felt good. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, you look at what the seed...
I felt good to sit there and hear him say what happened after 20 years.
Look at what the seed accomplished from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You had constant growth, constant development. It's constantly being fertilized by people who were working with that.
Right.
And now you've got people who've gone to school and become doctors and God knows whatever else that they've become. Yeah. So because of that seed that was planted years ago, that seed have cultivated itself, and now you've got kids who was actually involved in it, who was actually experienced what the seed was giving them, and they have developed from that. Like the little guy that came back who had become a doctor from Connecticut. He traveled all the way down from Connecticut to come here.
Connecticut, to fly there, to be there. And many live right there in the neighborhood, wasn't there?
There you go.
And
but that's
you
appreciative.
Been there.
That's appreciative.
That's
what you call compassion. Right. You got to have compassion. That's what Jesus had, compassion.
And also want to say, in conclusion, Dr. William, after when the program was over with, they served us some beautiful, the food was good.
Beautiful.
The fellowship in the back. And a gentleman came over to the table and he asked Pastor John and myself, said, would y'all just do me one favor? Would y'all go with me around the corner? It's on the 2nd Street over and say hello to somebody. And we said, well, it's time kind of late. We got some people with us. He said, please. Take 5 minutes with y'all 2 gentlemen that's come with me. Pastor Jones and myself and with all the people that were with us, we rode around the corner. He said, man, just give us 5 minutes. And he rung the doorbell, and the lady came to the door with no other than Sister Nia, a Reverend Nia wife. I think she's like 89 years old. In a few months, she's going to be 90 years old. But guess what? What was so hard feeling? As we walk in the door, and she, at the age of 89, she's still sharp. She said, that's that little boy who got Councilman Jones to change the name of that street to my husband, Reverend Neil. Now, chills go through your body. But guess what else was so good about this? Her nephew loved her enough, they didn't throw her aside. She didn't feel well enough to come to church. But he got her helper, her nurse, to dress her. And she had on a beautiful red white dress, like if she was going to church. We walk in that door, she had on white. She said, oh, Lord. But I thank God that we were able to make her day yesterday, Pastor Jones. Mm-hmm. We said we were going to be there. We stayed there about 10 or 15 minutes and talked to her. So I'm glad that we can close the show that today is saying that we know that joy was put on our face yesterday, and we were able to be a joy to someone else. Mm. And we have to end the show, y'all, but this was a good show to me today to think about a seed that was planted 20 years ago. I seen the manifestation of it. And I seen doctors and lawyers travel thousands of miles to come and thank for that seed being planted. So I'm telling everybody, plant a seed. And somebody one day gonna say, I thank you. They're gonna tell Watson or Vidor or Don, thank you for planting that seed for my child and my grandson or my neighbor. Plant a seed. And y'all know it's no such thing as being half dead. If you dead, you dead. We love y'all. Pastor William, I love y'all. And we hope that you have a great week. And we know that God will be with you. Love y'all.
But I sure been faithful. See, God.
Our listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255. The New Orleans Talk Network.